World markets are once again scoring declines this week. Although they are not as large as on Monday, it is still very nervous on the trading floors, all because of the introduction last night, announced by the U.S., of more tariffs on countries from which sales to the U.S. significantly exceed imports. This is the largest 84% tariff imposed on China, which makes, together with the previous rates, products imported from China subject to a 104% tariff from now on. If the U.S. really wants to solve problems through dialogue and negotiation, it should adopt an attitude of equality, respect, and mutual benefit. If the U.S. disregards the interests of both countries and the international community and insists on engaging in a tariff war and trade war, China will certainly fight to the end. Basically out of the blue, in response to U.S. strictures, China has increased tariffs on U.S. imports to 84%. However, it seems that most countries are trying to negotiate with the Americans. According to the White House, talks are already underway with more than 70 countries.
This is the largest transaction in the history of our country. And don't let some of these politicians go around saying, because I'm telling you, these countries are calling us up, kissing my ass. They are dying to make a deal. Please, sir, make a deal. I'll do anything. I'll do anything, sir.
Trump argues that this is about market justice. In the background, however, there is growing speculation that it is about a deliberate collapse of the markets to drive down interest rates on U.S. debt and the so-called bond rollover. On the other hand, as experts point out, in the long run, further escalation will not be endured by the largest economies. A side effect of the tariff war is the huge drop in oil prices. While at the beginning of the week there was talk of a significant change, now there is even talk of a sell-off. Saudi Arabia and OPEC countries are still maintaining plans to increase production, pushing today's price per barrel below $60, the lowest since the middle of the pandemic, when global trade was essentially suspended. Russia bases its economy on raw material exports. Oil and gas are the main axis of revenue, earmarked for armaments. Faced with Western sanctions, the Kremlin has already had to cut prices. Now they are approaching the level of unprofitability of extraction and transportation, and thus a catastrophe for an economy that has been switched to wartime for the past 3 years.